The International Monetary Fund's special drawing rights, or SDRs, has become a major topic of discussion amongst forward-looking economists like James Rickards. Here we will examine some background on the SDR and some potential coming changes to the global monetary system in 2015. First, let's hear directly from the IMF about its SDR program.
The SDR was created by the IMF in 1969. Currently, the amount of SDRs stands at just over $204 billion. Its value is based on a basket of four key international currencies: the US dollar, Japanese yen, British pound, and the euro. There are no notes or coins denominated in SDRs, but the SDR does play a role as an interest-bearing international reserve asset. The IMF allocates SDRs to its members in proportion to their standing in the organization, which is largely based on their share of the global economy. The allocation of SDRs boosts member countries' official reserves. While SDRs cannot be used to purchase goods and services directly, countries can exchange them amongst themselves. Once the SDRs have been added to a member country's official reserves, a country can exchange its SDRs for hard currencies such as the US dollar, euro, yen, or pound through voluntary trading arrangements with other IMF member countries. If a member purchases SDRs and its holdings rise above its allocation, it earns interest on the excess. Conversely, if it sells SDRs and holds fewer SDRs than allocated, it pays interest on the shortfall.
The value of the original SDR in 1969 was initially defined as equivalent to 0.888671 grams of fine gold. At the time, this was also equivalent to $1 US. After the final collapse of the Bretton Woods system, with Richard Nixon's closing of the gold window August 15, 1971, it was in 1973 that the SDR was redefined as a basket of fiat currencies. More on that in a moment. First, let's examine the SDR's 45-year performance measured against gold bullion. Originally, 35 SDRs were equivalent to 1 troy ounce of gold bullion. Today, January 11, 2015, 1 troy ounce of gold is equal to approximately 855 SDRs. Since 1973, the IMF's SDR has lost approximately 96% of its value to gold bullion. This is not surprising, for an SDR is essentially a claim for IMF member countries on non-gold foreign exchange fiat currency reserves, who have all lost tremendous value to gold since the end of the Bretton Woods system. The current fiat currency composition of the IMF's SDR consists of US dollars, euros, British pound sterling, and Japanese yen. In 2015, the basket of currencies which value the SDR is set to be re-evaluated by the IMF. It is very likely that the Chinese renminbi, also known as the Chinese yuan, will be accepted into the SDR's fiat currency basket. In October 2014, David Marsh, Managing Director of Official Monetary and Financial Institutions Forum, a London think tank, published a 15-month timeline for China and the SDR in the USA Today. Mr. Marsh writes, "The issue of whether the Chinese should be part of the International Monetary Fund's special drawing right, the composite reserve currency used in official financing, is highly technocratic, but the political questions at stake go to the core of world money and power. The decision on a new SDR structure to be made within the next 12 months will influence how China and its currency can play a bigger part in driving world trade, investment, and capital flows. The renminbi could eventually challenge the dollar and its pivotal position in world money." Mr. Marsh later writes that China still has to release more statistics to the International Monetary Fund about its monetary reserves and other matters. Chinese entry into the Magic Circle has been advanced by the British government's September decision to issue renminbi-denominated bonds, the first big government to take such a step, and allow the proceeds to be held as reserves by the Bank of England. The 2015 plan will also have the opportunity for the SDR to play a greater role on financial markets, for example, in denominating bond issues. He believes that with the addition of the renminbi, the SDR may be about to make a comeback. One final note, Mr. Marsh also mentions that China still has to release more statistics to the International Monetary Fund about its monetary reserves and other matters. In other words, China will have to actually update their official gold reserves. I think the last time they actually updated them was the year 2009. They currently officially have 1,054 tons, which is completely underestimating the amount of gold they have. They're the number one importer and the number one miner of gold in the entire world. Many experts out there speculating anywhere from 4,000 to over 10,000 tons of gold that China will have when they finally do update their official holdings. So keep an eye out for that in 2015. In 2010, the former president of the World Bank, Robert Zoellick, wrote in the Financial Times the following: "This new system is likely to involve the dollar, the euro, the yen, the pound, and a renminbi that moves toward internationalization and then an open capital account system. This system should also consider employing gold as an international reference point of market expectations about inflation, deflation, and future currency values. Although textbooks may view gold as the old money, markets are using gold as an alternative monetary asset today. It is quite likely that the coming monetary solutions will come as a result of a big bank crisis." William Middlecoff writes the following: "In almost all monetary crises and resets, holders of physical gold and silver have come out financially unharmed. China stopped buying U.S. Treasuries in 2010 and has been loading up on gold ever since, which is a sign not to be ignored. The Russians have been aggressively buying gold as well, ever since the start of the credit crisis in 2007. The fact that the U.S. is still fighting gold with everything in its power is a clear indication that gold will probably be an important part of a planned reset. Central bankers and politicians are merely buying time, hoping to prolong the endgame phase of our global financial system as it exists today. But there are those who have secretly started to prepare for the big reset that is needed to bring this financial system to the next level. A similar reset took place with the start of the dollar system in 1944. It is my belief that well before 2020, the global financial system will need to be rebooted to a new paradigm in which gold will play a larger role. The dollar will lose its status as the sole reserve currency, and countries like China will be much more powerful." So, to conclude, although the IMF's SDR may indeed become the intra-central bank reserve currency, it's quite likely it will coincide with the revalued gold price far higher than $1,200 an ounce. In this new monetary system, we're still going to use our regional fiat currencies for day-to-day transactions. So for those of you who are wondering about the effect all this is going to have on the US dollar's value, you might want to study the 400-year history of the world's former reserve currency, the fiat currency British pound sterling, to get a glimpse of the coming dollar devaluations ahead. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to leave research links and sources in the video Show More section. And if you have any interest in learning more about best practices to buy physical silver and gold bullion, I'm going to leave a link there where you can pick up an 80-page free digital guide. Be sure to subscribe, comment, and do stay in touch. And thanks a lot for watching the video. Bye.